Welcome back to Jerusalem Dateline. Retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn knows more about the war on Islamic terror than most anyone. Over the years, he's interviewed hundreds of Taliban, al-Qaeda, and other terrorists as the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. In this interview with CBN founder Pat Robertson, Flynn brings a sobering warning about the stakes in this war.
You've interrogated hundreds of Taliban and other type of radicals in the Middle East.
Members of al-Qaeda as well.
Al-Qaeda as well. What do they think in relation to Islam? Do they think they're the true followers of Islam?
They do. I mean, they do. I mean, if you read the Quran, if you read the Hadiths, which are essentially the beliefs within the Quran, you talk to these individuals who have a deeply rooted belief in this Sharia law. A law that, in fact, is the part of constitutions of many of the Muslim countries around the world. I mean, these are true believers. This is not a criminal organization. This is not a cult. This is an organization that has a deeply held religious belief, and it is apocalyptic. They have established this caliphate with a seat in the area around the Levant, which is Syria and Iraq and Lebanon, and they have global aspirations, which we have already seen. Now, this is not an organization that suddenly popped up in the last year. This actually was they began to rise really after we defeated them in Iraq around the 2010-2011 timeframe, and we saw them begin to rise up again in the 2011 all the way up to here. And it's been going on for some time, Doctor. I mean, we're talking about really what I would describe as a 30-year plan. And we're trying to, personally, and with some others who are really big believers in our national security, we're trying to figure out which time frame in their campaign are they in. Are they in the attack phase, so to speak? And are we beginning to see the beginnings of that? Doctor, I've been an intelligence officer and have had to clearly identify the enemy to many commanders on many battlefields over my career. And if I could not clearly identify the enemy, then I wasn't worth it wasn't worth the salt in my body to those commanders. Until you clearly identify the enemy, you cannot then decide how to defeat it, how to destroy it, or how to, in this case, eliminate this enemy. We want to see leadership out of our president so we can cheer for him, so this country can figure out what it is that we are going to have to face when we talk about this radical form of Islamism, which is going to take a long time to eliminate.
We slid from behind in Syria. We did almost nothing in Syria. Did the Defense Intelligence Agency give a clear picture to the administration of what they were facing and what would happen if we didn't act in Syria?
Yes, I mean, and I would say a combination of the intelligence efforts from certainly on the military intelligence side, been very clear. I think this use of chemical weapons in Syria was an unbelievable act of outrage, never mind violation of international law and international moral behavior to use really deadly chemicals against your own people and killed quite a number and did it more than once. And so we should either not state our red lines, or if we state them, we must do something about them instead of no action. And that takes away a lot of shine or respect from our nation. I mean, people around the world expect the United States to be the global leader. And there's a reason why we are in this position, and we should not allow ourselves to be seen as an equal to other nations on the world, because our ideals and our values are not equal to others. We believe in freedom. We believe in the equality of human beings. So anyway, there's been a series of things that have happened, Doctor, that I have been very, very disappointed in the actions. And frankly, that's partly why I'm sitting here with you today. And I left the government was because, you get to a point where you, as a soldier, which is what I am, down deep, you salute and you move out when you can't, agree with those that you're working for.
General, I want to ask you one last question. The DIA gave clear guidance to the president, but he had an election ahead of him, and he had a particular premise he wanted to put out in your intel didn't fit that premise. Is that correct?
You know, the narrative was al-Qaeda was on the run. They were defeated. We had, you know, previously killed bin Laden. So there was a sense of sort of, I would just describe it as political euphoria, and it didn't fit a particular narrative. And therefore, you know, that they did not want to accept that, well, in fact, these guys are rising. They are increasing. At that time, my assessment, our assessment, was that the number of groups had almost doubled in size. These groups of terrorist groups that were associated in some capacity with al-Qaeda. So for anybody to say that, you know, that they were on the run is irresponsible. And we now are facing a problem that we've given a lot of time to grow, and we're going to have to deal with it in vastly different ways, Doctor. I mean, this is, for your listeners, and I want people to understand that this enemy has the willingness and intent to steal away our way of life. And what we have to do is we have to take away their excuses for the kind of vitriol and these ideas that they are trying to expose to not you know, a few thousand, but millions around the world. So this is going to be a long-term problem. We're going to have a lot to face, and we're going to have to really come up with a far more detailed campaign and a strategy that goes with that. And it's not going to be this next president. This next president hopefully will get us started, but this is something that's going to transcend many presidents, potentially for another generation or longer, until we really figure out what it is that we are going to have to do in order to really eliminate this idea.
Well, General Flynn, thank you so much for the clarity of your voice, and we appreciate the stand you've taken. General Michael Flynn, God bless you.